Hiya, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Rosie Henshaw. If you're new here, then welcome. It's lovely to meet you. And if you're already existing, guys, then thank you so much for coming back. I really do appreciate it. Just grab yourselves a nice cup of tea and some snacks. I'm currently making myself a little brew. And get your snacks on the go. Today is a Q&A, as it would have been in the title. Now, normally I would ask you guys if you could send me some questions or on my Instagram. This time what I've done is I get so many messages and so many lovely comments, but sometimes I get questions and they're very, very similar to each other. So these are the most frequently asked ones. And I'm gonna say they're probably the most frequently asked ones that I've had since the very beginning of doing YouTube and Instagram. So I'm gonna answer them, no holds barred. Is that how you say it today? Or no bars held, however you'd say it. Answer every single question today, and hopefully we'll get in and you'll love today's Q&A. If you do have any more further questions, feel free to in the comments. I'm just gonna add some milk as well to my tea. Let's put that in the sink. Anyone else put their tea bags in the sink? That's just me. Right, so got a bit of milk in. Also as well, I was going to do it in a routine video, but actually I wear it at night time, so I didn't think it'd fit in the video. I've been kindly sponsored by Skin and Me for this portion of the video. So I've been using Skin and Me now for, I think, nearly 2 years now. I've been using their products. So what it is, you go online, you fill in a consultation, and you've got a skin expert. So they're experts on there. They'll have a look through, you type in what your skin goals are, currently what your skin type is now. You'll send in pictures, and what they will do is they will make up a formulation. And you know what? Access to them sort of ingredients shouldn't be off limits. So they really do bring you the best. Now, this is a Skin and Me, so this is a daily doser. So what I do is of a night time. So I use these of a night time, so it wouldn't have fitted doing a get ready with me. I have filmed a get ready with me that I'll upload, but I put this on in the evening, so I cleanse my face, make sure it's all clean, get all my makeup off. And then what I do is you just literally click it, and you've got enough product there to use. And my ingredients that I have in mine, I know I have niacinamide in mine. This is the niacinamide powered night cream. So I've got in here, so the ingredients are normally on this, it's normally on the lid. So mine's got niacinamide. Oh, mine's changed the packaging. So it used to say what ingredients were in mine and what percentage. So I know that I suffered with spots for years and years and years of my life, much more when I was a teenager. But then as I got older, even though it was hormonal because it was under my cheeks, it was really quite severe. It was damaging like the texture of my skin, and I was really unhappy. So niacinamide is a really good ingredient to sort of help with that. And what they do is they also give you a smaller quantity to start, so it adjusts with your skin over time. Now, if I wanted to say to Skin and Me, like obviously I want to change the ingredients, they will do that. So it's perfectly catered to your skin. It's been absolutely amazing. I love it. So it's just enough for your skin. I'd apply it all the way, so lovely and creamy. I'd apply it all over my skin, avoiding my eye area. Leave it on for a couple of minutes, and then what I would do is with a plain moisturiser, then go in and moisturise or put a bit of eye cream on, etc. Go to sleep. The next day I wake up and my skin feels amazing. So I love that they cater this to you. So their expert skincare specialists will cater this perfectly to your needs. They've also given me a code as well, which is RosieHen, all in capital letters, 02, which will get you your first daily doser for $4.99, which is amazing. But also with that offer, they'll give you a free trial of the moisturiser, the cleanser, and the SPF as well. So the SPF is something that I use, especially, I know you're meant to use it all year round. I am a bit lazy. I wear this sort of like as it comes into spring and all through summer. Now, you should be wearing an SPF all year round, but as I say, I am lazy. However, I've never found before Skin and Me a SPF that I can actually wear that doesn't make me feel greasy. So this is the Skin and Me SPF. This is amazing. My mum loves this now, and she also was not a fan of SPF. She didn't like the sticky feeling. This is an oil-free SPF. So it goes on actually really creamy. It's quite yellow in colour. Obviously it goes see-through. You've got to put this on 20 minutes before you go out in the sun though as well, by the way, so it's got its full benefits. It goes on lovely and thick, but then it soaks in, and honestly, it's oil free. So it's sort of like, it sometimes feels like you're defeating the object. You're like fighting, having, you know, like making your skin less spotty. And I find any SPF I was putting on my skin before was just making me really oily and break out. So the Skin and Me one is amazing because this is great. It's good for anti-aging. You're meant to have an SPF on every single day. It doesn't make your makeup feel like it's slipping off. I've actually got it on today, and I just look really lovely and dewy. I don't look sticky or anything like that. So I'm gonna wipe these off, but I wanna let you know that obviously if you use my code RosieHen, 02, all in capital letters, you'll get your first daily doser for $4.99. So make full use of the code. I think that's a really good deal, and I've been really into skincare since I've sort of got into my 30s, and I've got to be honest with you, This is so low maintenance. I have loads of skincare products on there, but I would say if you're gonna start and you just want to do something, this is amazing. You whack it on before bed and you know that all of your skin's needs are being met and your skin goals are being worked to. I've never loved my skin as much as I have now. And then also the SPF. I'd say that they are even every lazy girl's must-haves. So I'll leave the link below in the description box and my code if you want to go on and use that and give it a try. Why not? You've got nothing to lose. So let's get into the video. My tea is a bit strong actually, so I'm going to add a bit more milk. I left it brewing for a little while before. Whoop, whoop. Right, so let's get in anyway. I've put one of the bar stools around this side because, as I said, I'm rather lazy. So I'm going to get into the questions. And as I say, I'm not going to be holding any secrets. I'm literally going to answer all these questions. Not that there's anything ridiculously juicy here, because obviously, you know, within reason, I think sometimes it borderlines. Is that a question or is that a troll? Why are you so ugly? Should I answer that in my Q&A? No. Why not? And I've got my little question book here. I'm going to put the pen away because I'm a bit of a doodler. I'll sit there and I'll end up doodling away. So the first question that I got asked, so I've written them in order of stuff. So I've got like random ones, then I've got like normal questions, and then I've got sort of questions that are more to do with like home and products and stuff that I use. So I thought I would do it in a list. This is how I've sort of gone round because I think the random ones are the ones that stick out more in my mind. So the most random ones are, what do I weigh? Now, I don't think this is personally is a random question, but I think going by my subconscious self a good few years back, I think I'd have thought, oh, why are they asking me this? Me now, very confident person, and also I share a lot of fashion, I share a lot of clothing. I think people want to know roughly what size you are, as in height, width, weight, measurements. I get asked my measurements daily, like this is no joke, I actually do, what my exact weight is. And I think it's because people want to know how the clothes are going to look on them and they sort of reference themselves. I always give them what they ask for. I always tell them my weight and my measurements. My measurements are a bit difficult because I don't really do that. So there's been times where I've actually measured myself for someone where they've gone, can you please tell me your measurements? I've wanted to wear this dress. I feel really upset. I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, get off the sofa, quickly measure yourself and send your measurements. But that's not something that I normally measure myself with. I haven't weighed myself in a little while, and I'm going to say I've gained weight just by my clothes feeling a little bit tighter on me. So the last time I weighed myself, I was just under 15 stone. So I'm going to say just over now. And that doesn't bother me, but I'm not a daily weigher either. I probably like weigh myself. Last time I weighed myself probably was about a year ago now. Like, that's not something that I go by. I always know if I've lost a bit of weight or gained a bit of weight by what my clothes feel like on. So that is that. I'm also 5'3". If you've been here for a while, you will know this, but basically when I went to go and have my first baby, Millie, I was pregnant, the lady in there, the midwife, she was doing all my stats and everything, and she was like, what do you weigh? She was like, well, you get it on a scale, stuff like that, because if you don't know, I didn't know what my weight was. And she was like, what's your height? I was like 5'6". I genuinely just thought I was like of a normal height range. I have got body dysmorphia in the opposite. I always think I'm much smaller in weight and always much taller in height. I'm the complete opposite. I genuinely feel like a Victoria's Secret model, and then I'm like, oh, you're not. Oh, that's a real shock. So I feel very, very tall. And some people might be surprised for that, but I genuinely do now. I never used to when I was insecure, but now I'm like, oh, I'm really tall. I'm really, But she laughed at me and was like, no, go step over there. So, you've got the scales that have also got the height bit on there as well. So she went and measured me there, and I was 5'2". Now, you do stop growing roughly between about 15 and 16 as a girl, but I was 5'2", just over 5'2", and now I'm like literally 2 lines under 5'3". So I'm either standing much more straight, or the only thing I can think of is where I was pregnant and obviously I had a large bump, whether it was sort of like pushing me down on my spine, like the weight of me. So that's the only thing I can think of, but I am 5'3", so I say 5'3", it's literally just under, so I'm 5'3". But my friends laugh because I do this thing, sometimes I'm like, no, I'm taller than you. And like from opposite, like say they're like a metre away from me, I genuinely feel like, I say my eyes must be higher up on my head than what yours are, because I just genuinely feel like I'm taller. And then as we slowly come together, they're like taller than me. Whether it's like, but obviously people that are like 5'5", which is the standard average height, that's only like that much taller than me anyway, but it just feels like, and I get sometimes, but I think people think I'm taller, and people are like, You're quite small, aren't you? Got this tall energy, I think. So I always get asked if I'm going to be having any more children. So no, I'm not going to be having any more children. Me and Gary are married. We're obviously planning to be together for the rest of our lives. Gary's had the snip. We've got 4 children. And do you know what? Would we have had more? Probably would have had more children. But do you know what? I think sometimes you have to just go, what seems the right amount? And I just think with cars, with space in our house, it just felt right. And I hate to think that you have to, in this day and age, you have to really like, you only plan your family by how the world is, don't you? So like everything's so expensive, and house prices and, you know, rent or bills. It's really expensive to have children. And I understand that you should have to have the concept of you have to afford them. But at the same time, if you know you can afford them, but it's more space and you get that guilt of it, don't you? Like in other countries, families share houses and families are like, you know, you can have children sharing bedrooms and stuff. I think it's much more of a Western thing over here where you get people like, oh, well, they have their own room. And it's kind of like, well, if they don't, you feel bad. So I think me and Gary were a bit like, you know, they've all got their rooms and, you know, Archie and Alfie share. However, I will say this, we did say about possibly extending on above this extension as an upstairs bit for the boys. And they were like, oh, I don't really want to. And there's been times where Albert's come in with us and we've said like Archie's had a sleepover if the other one wanted to go in Albert's room, and they don't like being apart. So a lot of people ask if they're twins. They're not. They're literally 15 months between the two of them. So they just really like being together. That's how they are. And when the other one's not there, they really, really miss each other. So at the moment, it's not a problem. But having more babies, it would have meant more sharing and stuff like that. And then Albert's little room is a little nursery. It's not a huge room like the boys' bedroom is. Their room's really big. Like they don't have to be near each other if they don't want to. So no. And also with that, a lot of people ask, do you plan to move? So I think it's just a thing where I've obviously spoke about it before with like the boys sharing and stuff. People were like, are you going to move? I have got 1 move in me. Well, I say to Gary 2 moves. So I've only got 1 family move in me and then like an older move in me, if that makes sense. So me and Gary, we have decided that when we get to a certain age, we are, with the way the world is, we are going to sell our house when we're old enough, and we are going to buy somewhere small, like a ground level flat or a small bungalow with like 2 bedrooms, just so we can have grandbabies if we're blessed with grandbabies. And then what is left over from our house, we are going to split between our 4 babies and let them, we want to watch them enjoy it. And it's because we've had family members that have passed and stuff, and it's a struggle to leave anything to your family now. I feel like if you're in the super mega rich, it always, you know, it never gets left down. But I just feel like I want my babies to enjoy that, because you can't take anything with you, can you? So, you know, I don't want to have a big house and it be empty, and then the way the world is, because, you know, it'd be really hard for them to get on the property ladder. It'd be really hard for them, you know, to have a wedding and stuff like that. You know, they can work really hard, but times are only getting worse. So by the time they get older, hopefully the world will sort itself out of it, but I just can't see that. So me and Gary said, once we get to an age, we will literally just watch them enjoy it. Young enough that they can enjoy it and we can see them enjoy it. And yeah, that's what our plan is. So that'll be our old move. But we did say we might have 1 family moving us. So we'd have to still be very local because of the kids' schools and stuff. Millie's at an awkward age now, isn't she? She's a teenager. She's got all of her friends. I really want to thrust her into a new school. Archie's like his SATs year now. Alfie will be next year. So we're really in the heat of it. I really won't want to move them away from what they know and cause any pressure, especially after we had all lockdown and stuff like that. So I think we'd go more local, but we'd possibly move to a bigger house. The only thing I say to Gary is it's sort of like the cost of moving is so much. And also to move to a house that has an extra bedroom is double of that what it would cost to extend to make an extra bedroom. So we possibly would just extend to make the extra bedroom. So we're currently saving to see how that would go. That's the dishwasher, by the way, guys, just letting me know that it's done. I can feel it because it's hot against my legs. It's just in front of me. So possibly moving, but I don't know if we would. So then we've possibly just got our old move in us. And, you know, because I always say as well, like, you don't know what tomorrow brings. And, you know, I'd like to think that if I'm going to live to an old age, it would be, you know, if I'm lucky enough and blessed enough to get to an old age, I'd like to think that, you know, walking stairs and stuff would just be absolutely fine. But there are a lot of people that aren't in that position. So, you know, I'd have this big house. I might not be able to access my top of my house. So it might benefit me by having a bungalow and then seeing the children enjoy that. So we're going to get on to things that are more, I get asked, and I always get really awkward because it's like I don't really know how to answer this because I'm quite an embarrassed person. I get quite embarrassed quite easy, and I know sometimes people might think, no, you don't get embarrassed because you're like, you know, quite out there, quite bubbly, quite up front. I do get embarrassed. I saw something on Instagram the other day, and actually the quote just made me giggle so much. I showed Gary and he was like, that's you. So it said, I don't like to think about what I'm going to say before I say it. I like to think about it after, every single day for the rest of my life. And that is so me. So I am known as the person and friend, and yeah, I do get embarrassed quite easy. So I don't know how to answer this without feeling embarrassed. So I'm going to try and push through it if I get really rosy cheeks. So people always ask me, or I'll get messages which are so lovely where people will go, Rosie, you're really lovely. You seem like a really genuine character. You seem really bubbly, like blah, blah, blah. And are you like this when you're not on the camera? Are you like this off of YouTube? And when someone puts a compliment in front of it, I don't want to go, yeah, that was me. You know, like him out of Richard Jones. Yeah, no future plans to record. You've just said I'm lovely and you're asking me if I'm that lovely off the camera. I'm like, oh, I feel a little bit awkward to say that. Am I like bigging my head up? I'm like, I'll just scratch my ears, shall I? But I am the same off the camera, except I have a rawer edge, my friends say to me. I've got a bit more of a rawer edge. So if you like the film Love Actually, and the character Natalie, the one that goes to the Prime Minister, she puts her foot in it and will occasionally swear. Now, I don't swear on YouTube because I don't expect people to put the TV programme on, put me on, and just have me be like a complete potty mouth. However, I know that it's disgusting, it's a disgusting habit. My family are from the East End of London, and I feel like habits die hard. We have the most extreme words used when someone kicks their toe up, or if they're celebrating, or if they're happy. Little swears come out. I know that's not how other people like that, and I dare say some people will be like, well, I don't like her because of that, and that's absolutely fine. That is your complete choice. I am a swearer. There is a time and a place. I'm not a complete potty mouth, but when I'm with my friends, like I have a lot of people say you're just like Natalie, or when it comes to Christmas time, they're like, oh, Rosie's on the screen, and it's because that is my character. So yeah, I am the same as I am. I just have an edge. So when they say I have an edge, I'm as jolly as I am, I'm as friendly as I am, but I will swear. I'll be like, oh, you know, that's just me as I am. I think Gary's got back, they've gone for a walk. This is the last day the kids are off before they go back on school holidays. I just heard Bertie come in, they've gone all for a walk. So yeah, I am the same. And obviously, please feel free. I've met so many of you in real life now. I literally see so many of you, and you go, oh my God, you're just the same. Like, so please feel free to write in the comments because I've met you all. I do feel like sometimes I'm a bit much because I am more of a sort of person where when I meet you, I'll lean in and give you a big hug and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if that person necessarily wanted that. And I get a bit awkward or all. But yeah, just exactly the same. You right, boys?
Yeah.
Nice walk?
A nice walk. And I've got some lunch.
Oh, got some lunch. What are we having for lunch?
Some hummus, some pita breads.
Oh, nice. Nice
carrot
one.
sticks.
Carrots. Oh yeah, lovely. So that's that one. So I am the same. I'm just, and we giggle because the kids might take like the mick. They're like, hiya, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And like, as if like I'm a character. And I'm like, do you know what? If you watch my YouTube videos, I'm talking differently now to what I do when I do my intro. So this is how I speak. This is my normality. But I say to Gary as well, it's like, I think, you know, you see like a very small snippet of what's going on in the background. And, you know, I always get asked, do you ever lose your head or do you ever get cross? Of course I do. Like, that's a normal person thing. And I always think, like, sometimes when you do this, I think sometimes people see you as a character, more so like if you are on EastEnders or something like that. And that's like anything different, you're not sticking to your role. But the truth is, we all get upset, we all get angry, we all get, you know, feel helpless or sad or low or alleviated happy, like happy above the clouds happy. And I'm just human and we all feel them emotions. So I'm very out there, I'm very lively, I'm very bubbly. I would say a lot of people, if we were in a room full of people at a party, I think if you said who is the most content, happy, bubbly person here, I'm pretty sure people would say me. But then there are some times where I'm in that room and I am happy and bubbly, but there's part of me that just feels like, oh, I don't feel comfortable here, I don't feel like I'm enough here. And sometimes I do get them feelings, but that's completely normal. And I think I'm always going to have them moments from being a very insecure person in the past. It's always going to be a work in progress to feel my best. And I always say to the children, lean into your emotions that you feel. It's never a good thing to mask it. So if you're feeling cross, be cross in that moment, rationalise how you feel and see how you can work on that to feel better. If you're feeling, I'm not one to get cross and just be like, rah, that's not me. I feel like break it down and try and sort it out before, you erupt. And then I also feel like as well, if you're feeling sad, just be sad. Don't try to be something that you're not feeling. Emotions come and you've just got to take them for what they are and really lean into them. Because I feel like when you mask that and you don't feel that, I feel like it will eventually creep up on you far more stronger than it felt, the little times that you feel like that. So yes, I am the same. I'm going to say I seem much more, I don't really know the word. A bit of an airhead. I think sometimes people think, this is the bit I'm going to get embarrassed, I'm going to sound like a right big head now with my big forehead out. I think I get my words mixed up, but a lot of that is because I just get caught up in it and I just say the words. So technically, when it comes to literacy, I probably am a little bit dumb. But actually in real life, I'm actually quite clever. So, and it's more of a general knowledge clever. So we watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, The Chase, general knowledge stuff. The kids sit there, they're like, what is wrong with you? I get all the answers right. So it must be like a different kind of. You see me getting red now, I'm like, yes. Are you the same? Yes, I'm amazing. And I'm very clever. I get all the questions right. I get all this right. I'm just very clever. No. On countdown, I cannot physically for the life of me, there'll be 11 letters or something and it'd be make a word up and I'll be like, you pick up. But on the maths bit, I'm like, and I'll know the maths. So, when I count stuff up when I'm doing stuff, I'm like, oh, my maths skills, it's more because I'm in a kerfuffle and I do get them little moments where I'm like, oh, I'm very self-aware and I get a little bit embarrassed. But a good thing is you can't tell because there's times where I have moments and I'm like, you were thinking that right there, yet you can't tell when I watch myself back. So when I'm editing or anything. So yeah, I am the same. I have changed a little bit because some people have said you changed since you first done the videos. I'm going to have to say I've changed since being able to edit. And that the truth is I just think if you know that you've got 20 minutes and it can't be changed, you just roll with it. If you say something wrong, you carry on. However, also with this, you do get a lot of negativity and I don't like to add fuel to the fire of it, but you just do. Just for existing, there'll be an excuse as to she took on too many jobs this month, or I don't like the way she said this, or I don't like that she wears so many different coats. I think sometimes people struggle to realise, you know what, you just don't like me and that's okay. Maybe I'm not a bad person. Maybe I've not done anything wrong in particular. You are allowed to just not like me and that doesn't make you a bad person for not liking me. But I think sometimes people feel like they need a justification for not liking me. And in truth, it's sometimes you might watch the telly and you might just not gel. You might just think, I'm not keen on that character. I'm not keen on that person. And they've done absolutely nothing to you, but you've just got to own that a little bit. So but some people, they feel a bit uncomfortable by me, but they also don't just switch off from me. They continue to watch and they continue to message and they continue to say not very nice things that have hurt my feelings at times. I would say a lot of it I sort of override and I'm like, do you know what? Seriously, try and see the bigger picture. Would you do that? No. I obviously have social media. I consume some social media. Sometimes when I'm cooking dinner, I just have stories playing. There are some things I don't like. There are some things people do that I just go, oh, to. But then I get on with my life. It's not my place. Unless someone's being physically harmed or they're in danger. And even then, realistically, you've got to think, what is my comment going to do to help that? It's not. So I think it's a case of, now I can edit, sometimes I second guess myself. So sometimes I'll do something or I'll say something and I'll think, oh, actually, someone, and I'm like that girl sometimes, and sometimes I say something silly, I might go, I'm going to edit that, because otherwise, typically one person at least is going to say, oh, blah, blah, blah. And it's not nice that you micromanage yourself a little bit, because the reason it's different now, and I don't think the people that genuinely moan that I'm different now are the people that have made me feel like I have to over edit. And that's the sad part about it. So you're not going to please them. So it's just, yeah, I do feel like I'm getting more into videos, girl, and where I'm editing less. It's more so if it's like, if I'm painting or making something.
You never really edited a lot.
No, I mean, my editing skills are like minimal. There's an app called iMovie, so I would get asked what I edit on as well, because I know some people like to make their own YouTubes and they're starting up, which is amazing. If I've been editing, because I get messages saying, oh, because of you, I've decided to start up. That's amazing. I love that. But I use the app iMovie, so literally it's like you put videos, it just adds them together and you can cut a bit out, like at the ends and stuff. So that's always really good. And then the music, you literally just add the plus button and then the music will be on there, because I have Epidemic Sounds. Basically, it's a copyright-free music, and it will just add songs that you like. I have saved about 12 songs, so all of my songs are the same ones that I play. So I've got lists of thousands of music I could go through, but I'm pretty like, if I like something, I like something. So I use the same ones. So that is that. This is another question I get asked all the time. Why do you buy so much? So I will say this. I am a little bit of a shopaholic, I am. I do tend to get quite a little bit of dopamine from my shopping. I do love to shop. I have always loved to shop. But I think sometimes people ask that question because they seem to think that I think it's more the clothing, if I'm completely honest. So like when it comes to like the seasonal decor and stuff, in a lot more recent videos, I will like buy the bits I'm going to buy, but I will also like share in the shop just like the bits that are on the shelf. So bits that I know that yous would love to see, but I'm not going to need to buy myself. So the only thing I can think that being of is more so to do with the clothes and fashion. But I have said this before, I don't keep all the clothes. I had a very nice comment, and the lady was very, very nice. So if you're watching, please know I wasn't offended by this at all. I had a very lovely lady say that she loved the video, she loved the clothes on me. However, she didn't like the idea that clothes were all being taken back by lots of influencers. And then I also had another message that wasn't very nice. It was like, yeah, I don't want to wear clothes, it's been on disgusting, all that, just not very nice from another person. And I did have to think to myself, like, oh, okay, maybe. And then I thought, actually, and I did reply this, like, I know every single person in my life that buys clothes will go home to try them on. Very rarely do I know anyone that tries them on. And even if I'm trying them on in the change room, so like say every item of clothing that I share in my try-on hauls, say I'm in the shop and I put them all on in the changing room, they are still on my skin, they're still on my body, I'm still trying the clothes on. So I completely get not wanting to wear clothes that have been worn. However, I don't wear the clothes and then take them back. It's literally tried on in that moment for the video and then sent back. So I kind of thought, actually, that's impossible to, and even then I sort of thought, oh, maybe I shouldn't. So, it's kind of an impossible thing. So I think it does have to do with the clothes. So I don't keep all the clothes. I wouldn't have the space for all the clothes. A lot of people every autumn are like, Rosie, where do these coats come from? And yet again, lots of people are like, oh, Rose, that's a lovely coat. Where's that from? Oh, well, you have loads of coats. So I started gaining weight when I had Millie. I lost a bit of weight after Millie, and then after the boys, and to be honest, it was nothing to do with my pregnancy, it was more to do with my lifestyle. I was a bit more active before then. I've ate a lot more calorific foods after. I'd never blame my pregnancies for it. However, bags, shoes, and coats, I've always had like oversized style coats. Some of my coats are, what about that red coat when we went out with Robert and Rosie? That was what? In our old house, 11 years ago?
Something like that, yeah.
Some of my coats are like 11, 12 years old. So obviously you just think, go back 12 years, even if I bought myself one winter coat a year, that's 12 coats. I probably have about 20 and I have bought them in the sales and stuff. But do you know what? It's like, I love a coat and I always think it's nice to have a nice style of coat on, and I feel like you can just wear like plain trousers, plain jeans, plain skirt, and it always levels the outfit up. So coats are my thing, but what I really like getting is a really lovely quality material coat, but getting it in the sale. So I will look at the coats they have currently, like say H&M or Mango. Some of the Mango ones are in the sale now and they've gone down by £40. I guarantee to you by April, they will be peanuts. That's the sort of times when I buy my coats. So yeah, why do you buy so much? And also, if I'm not buying the clothes or sharing the clothes, I mean, a lot on my reels, some people have like Rose clothes, but you go back last year and the year before, most of the satin skirts were worn the year before, and the year before that. I'm just repurposing them, and I might not wear them during the summer. So when they come out in the autumn, people are like, oh, you bought more stuff. But realistically, they're classic items that most of the shops sell every single year, and like t-shirts, jumpers. So, you know, I like classic items, and I do buy some new bits, but also it is kind of like what my content is. If I weren't buying the stuff to show you the stuff, I'd have no videos to share. So, you know, it's one of them things. It's like a double-edged sword, really. So how do you work with brands? I get asked all the time how I work with brands. So basically the brands I will just open my inbox one day and there'll be messages in there from brands. Now, I have had people say, and I feel like I'm honestly like a broken record saying this, I get so many messages. The amount of times I've said to Gary, I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's not my thing. Or there's brands that will want to work with you and they'll want you to say that you love a product and will not give you no time to try it. So that's not really how, and I feel like sometimes they're quite shocked. And I have got to be honest with you, I've then seen other influencers use that brand, and then it makes me question them, because I know that that brand doesn't want you to try that product. They want you to just use that product and share about it there and then. So then I'll see them go, oh, I've loved this, blah, blah, blah. And I think, have you used it for a long time and that's why you love it? Or I question it and I think, how honest is that? So then I'm less likely to then be recommended by them, and I don't want to be that person. So I also get asked, why do you keep, one person said to me, why do you keep sharing the same thing? Or them vitamins or this or that. Now, it's be the same with Skin and Me, it'll be the same with HelloFresh, and it'll be the same with the vitamins. They are brands that I have shared for what, nearly 4 years? Now, we use them. It's as simple as that. And all of the stuff was tried before. I mean, Skin and Me was them. Skin and Me, they asked me to try out. They were amazing. I said to them, can I try it out? They were like, yeah, go for it. I used this for weeks and weeks and weeks before I shared it so I could give an honest opinion. And they wanted that because obviously it's skincare with ingredients in it that you actually need to see if it improves your skin. You can't put something on your skin and just see if it's going to be okay the next day, because that's not how it works. And they were absolutely amazing. So when them brands come to me and they'll say, Rosie, would you like to use us again? I'm like, yeah, great for it. Like, I'll share it because my drawer is full of bits and bobs like this because I use it anyway. I mean, these ones annoy you because they're always in that little pot at the end of the stairs, aren't they? He's like, do you need all of these? I'm like, that one's for the handbag. There's smaller ones in there. So it's just one of them things that if the brands come to you and you love the product, I would rather share a brand more and more times rather than share a different brand different times. And I just share what I actually use. And I feel like by you seeing me share the same thing, it might be very annoying, but at least you know I love the product, because I could just be sharing different brands. It isn't like I'm not being asked by different brands to share stuff. And there's times where I get asked by rivals of companies that are basically the same line of product. I'm like, no, I love this and this is what I use. And, you know, there's a fair bit of money behind it. I'm like, no, I'd rather use what I know and I love. So, you know, you're not going to, like I say, you're not going to please all the people. Some people will choose to say that's false. I know I've got my emails, and realistically there have been times where I've gone, I feel like I want to prove that. And Gary's like, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody. Like, why do you worry? Like, why do you actually care? And I shouldn't, because I know that I'm being honest. But I think that's what it is though. I think when you know you're telling the truth, you get this like level of frustration, don't you? It's like, I want to prove, because it's like, I know I'm not doing anything wrong. So I know I'm being honest. So, right. Then we're going to get on to... Right. So that is another thing. Does negativity bring you down? I always get asked this whenever I do a Q&A. Always get asked this all the time. And the truth is, yes, it does. And there have been times where I've been very blasé and I've said, oh no, it don't bother me, it goes over my head. Now I'm going to say about 8 times out of 10 it does go over my head. There's been times where I've laughed and I've said to Gary, oh, look at this. And we've had a right chuckle. Like when they said things about you before and we were giggling our arses off, weren't we? Yeah, we were laughing because we've also got very dark sense of humours. So like me and him, if someone says that it's funny, it's actually funny. It's probably not, but like we might watch Ricky Gervais and he'll be very near the mark and we will laugh our heads off. So there's sometimes where people have been very inventive with the way they've insulted me, and it's made me giggle. One of them in particular really made me laugh when someone said, she talking about smelling the perfume, she probably can't smell anything past her top lip because it's been so overfilled. That made me absolutely cry with laughter. That was really funny. Obviously, but there are times I think it's more so, I'm not going to say what it is that annoys me, but it's something else that annoys me what gets said. Saying what you want about my appearance, that don't bother me. But I don't want to say it in case more people are a bit more like inclined to do it. But I just think, you know what I'm saying, mums. I just feel like when some other things get said, that does bring me down. I do remember probably about, I think I was pregnant with Albert, and I got the most vile message. Do you remember the message when they'd said about the kids and that in my DMs on Instagram?
Yeah.
And I was so cross. I was like, that is absolutely disgusting, the things that were said. So I literally just thought, I'm going to block you. And I thought, right, just be the better person. And I literally wrote, go F yourself, babe. Like, I just thought, sod ya. And then I remember getting a message in my DMs from someone saying, Rosie, did you tell someone? I went, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. And I thought, do you know what? I don't care. Like, something like that, I will never, ever feel bad for, because as a mother bear, I'm like, don't you dare. Like, I choose to do YouTube. I choose to put myself out there. I don't necessarily think that goes in hand. I don't think that you deserve abuse because you put yourself out there. You put yourself out there when you walk out the door every single day. Every single time I decide to wear clothes down the street or the supermarket doesn't mean I'm there to be held at abuse. I think it's very similar lines to when women wear short skirts and they say, well, you know, she deserved to be ogled at by men. She deserved it. No, you don't. I don't think that's necessarily, you should just be able to live your lives. I'm deciding to share crafts, share videos of my home life and, you know, clothes and stuff. I'm not saying, what do you rate my face? What do you think of my body weight? Like, I'm not asking those questions. It's irrelevant to my content, so I don't think I deserve it. So even more so, my kids don't deserve to be brought into it. That really peeved me off. Like, that made me angry. I was just like, I'm very cross. But however, I have got to say, we have had similar things like that being said since that, and I do let it go over my head because I think, you know, it's an obvious one. If they keep messaging me or keep saying things about me and I'm just like, yeah, whatever, thank you, heart in their comment, I'm like, whatever, engagement. I don't even block them anymore. I let it stay there. And I think it just shows who you are as a person. Half the time they're on fake accounts because they're not brave enough to say it. So I'm just like, it says more about you than it says about me. So it does go over my head a lot more now, but I have got to say, going into it, them years of trying to, you know, put up with that. And then I'd say to Gary, so what is the point? Like, I get so much joy from it. It's like so lovely. And I get to talk to so many lovely people and it's so nice. But then I sort of like, and it's a creative outlet for me. I'm quite a creative person. I like making stuff. I like doing stuff. And it's like, it's almost like a documentation. There's been times where I've made stuff and I'm just like, do you remember when I made that? And I'll like watch back on my videos. They'll be on my phone and stuff. I'll look back and be like, oh, I made that and that was really nice. And it's a really creative outlet for me. I've always been like that. So I thought, I'm not going to let them make me feel like I can't do it. But there have been times where I've sort of thought, I don't need to do this. Why am I doing it? Why am I letting them people speak to me like that? I'll just delete it. And then I thought, that's actually what they want. They don't want me out here doing this. They don't want me enjoying myself and being happy. They can't bear to see that. So you know, and that the amount of excuses that have been made up, like, no, it's not this, it's not that. I don't actually think it is jealousy, to be completely honest with you. I think sometimes, like I say, you just don't like someone. But the way the world is, you don't feel like you can dislike someone without being the bad person. No, we're all different. We all have different characteristics. We all have personality traits that we gel with and what we don't. And then people might just feel like they need a reason to dislike me rather than the fact they just look at my face and think, I can't stand her. But just own it. Just not stand me. Not everyone's going to like me and that's fine. I have struggled with that in the past. I always think I want everyone to like me. I'm a real people pleaser. As I'm getting older and I'm seeing my children and I'm speaking to them and I know what I'm saying to them is like, we can't be liked by everyone. And I know my words are right. I can speak sense when I'm talking to them. I'm like, just take your own advice. Just let things dwell out that ain't there. You know, if there's people that don't want to be right, just let that fizzle. You know, you can't be liked by everyone, but then you do meet your people and then the people that are around you are more your personality. Gary's my best friend. Gary's my absolute best friend and he will always steer me in the right direction. He'll always tell me if I've been a pain in the bum or I'm wrong, but he'll also tell me if I'm right too, and he'll tell me, like, Sodom, don't worry, we're fine on our own. So, right, another one, this is just literally the last minute bits, guys, that I get asked questions all the time. So one is the hops, these are all like home and like beauty bits. So hair colour, I'm getting asked all the time if this is hairdresser colour or box colour. So this is a box colour. This is this one. It's the L'Oreal Palette Paris For You. It's very similar to my shade. However, when I very first stuck this on, I left it on, what was it? I left it on about 15 minutes too long, didn't I? And it went almost blue black. It went very dark. It has faded to the natural colour. However, what I will say is it, not natural colour, but the colour it's meant to be on the box. I don't know if it would have done had I not had blonde underneath, because the bits, well actually this bit here didn't have blonde underneath and it's faded back down to the colour. So you might be all right, but just make sure you keep it on the amount of time it says. Now I've been buying these and I just mix a little bit of that and a little bit of the other one in a little tint bowl and just tiny touch up my roots, because I don't want to damage my hair and my greys are coming in so thick and fast since I've been sort of like on a hair growth journey. So I've just been doing that and touching it up, but that's really good. You obviously can get tints if you want to. I just feel like it's good. It's 100% coverage on your greys. So I thought I'd answer that. Also the hops, I get asked all the time over the fireplace and over here, like over the oven, what these are. So these are actually dried. So I bought these and they were fresh when we bought them and I hung them up. I do have a video of hanging them up. I'll try and find it and link it below. But they come a lot more of a brighter green. Gary weren't keen on them when they was first done, was you? But more like when they dried. They come off for Christmas and then we put them back on. But I will say, putting them back on was a task and a half. Like half of them like got lost. I had to order more bunches to sort of add to it. They were awful to hang when they're dry. So I'm gonna say the only time you can sort of hang them when they're fresh is August time. So every August I'm gonna get a fresh one. Now a fresh long garland, done my fireplace like a huge display, and also this as well. And I probably would have had enough left over to make like a little wreath or something, which I'll do this August. But these are from Essentially Hops. So they're a website online. But they do have dried ones now. They're called vintage dry ones. I'm going to say don't bother wasting your money, because what you'll buy will be probably a third of what's left on a huge one when they're fresh, and then you'll lose half of that just trying to hang it because they fall off and stuff. When it's up, it don't fall off unless it's sort of like whacked, then all the dry flowers will come down. But if it just stays there, it's absolutely fine. I was told to spray it with some hairspray and it will stop them from falling, but I didn't really feel like doing that because it's a gas hob. I didn't want to make it flammable, so I was just like, leave it. But they don't fall out in your food and stuff like that. You know, Gary's occasionally like near enough headbutted it where he was so tall when he's gone close when he's stirring, and he's knocked a couple off, but not when we're cooking and stuff. It's more when he's making a tea. Or the kids playing football, like Archie playing football in the house and kicking the ones on the fireplace. And I go in there and it's just like a bush on the floor. It's like autumn leaves everywhere. Also as well, I get asked about my blush. So this is the £1.50 blusher from Primark. And I think the shade is Dusty Rose. It's in a little silver container and it's got like a see-through lid so you can see in there. They're £1.50, they're really good. And they've got a bit of a glitter tone to them and they're really nice. And I use a lot of like dewy foundations, not a matte sort of colour. So when I put this on, it sort of like absorbs some of it. They're not so powdery. Because when I was using the dewy one, it was just a bit too shiny. And tan products. So I went a little while without wearing tan. I felt a bit conscious, sort of like all the time. I started wearing tan. I didn't even notice I was doing it, wearing tan. And then I was like, right, I'm not going to wear tan. It makes you feel a bit sticky. You smell like a biscuit, don't you, when you wear tan? However, I did wear tan again. When was it? When I dyed my hair, it went black, wasn't it? I looked like Noel Fielding. My hair was so dark and I was so light, and I was like, well, I think you may have to start tanning. So I did tan the other day, but I think now it's fading out again to this sort of colour, I'll stop tanning again. I don't put any tan on my chest or my face, but I just, my arms, I'm just very, very pale person. Freckly skin as well, you can see, very, very freckly skin. So I just kind of thought, do you know what, while my hair's jet black, why not? But my tan is the Bondi Sands and it's the ultra dark 6 Hour Mousse. I will link everything I can below in the description box with descriptions of colours and stuff. But it's the ultra dark one I use because I actually don't think that's ultra dark, if I'm honest. And it's the only one I find isn't very orange. Don't go very orange. It's more of a dirty brown, which I prefer, because on my skin I end up looking ultraviolet. So this is my Q&A. Also, don't forget, if you use my code RosieHen02, that's all in capital letters, I'll leave that on the screen now, you'll get your first daily doser for $4.99, which is an amazing deal. And you'll also get a free trial of the SPF, the moisturiser and the cleanser. So as I say, if there's any more questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll happily answer them. But hopefully this has answered most of the questions that I usually get. And also, last one. What colour is on the panelling behind my kitchen table, the one where the star and the frames are? That is Bone by Farrow and Ball. And then the colour in my living room behind where I do my reels, that I get asked. Oh, how many times a day do I get asked that, girl? What is the colour on the walls? That is Valspar Sling Your Hook. like double OK. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video, guys. I've been Rosie Henshaw. See you later. Take care. Bye.